Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a guide on how I personally make a build in last Epoch using LE tools before I play it. Before I just start this, a little disclaimer, we are basically going to be building Reflect Paladin, but I'm going to do it from scratch here without using any guides or anything, so you guys can kind of see how a build comes together and why, and I'll explain different options and things you can do, and we'll just completely start this so you guys can kind of see where the logic goes and it might help you. So, the idea for any build is you want to pick something that sounds fun or interaction, etc. Whatever entices you. That's before you even get here, that's what you want to do. Because other than that, there's nothing to plan for, obviously. So, let's say everybody's talking about this super cool new item that's coming out, a thicket of blinding light. And all you know about this is you want to play reflect, it hits mobs while you run around, and that's it. So you're going to take this item and you're going to read it very carefully. And then it says every 0.5 seconds you blind an enemy, deal damage to them equal to your damage reflected to attacker's stat. Scales with your damage reflected to attacker's stat, not, very important, not with the actual damage that has been reflected to attackers. Does not scale with percent damage reflected. So before I get that, we'll finish reading the item. Basically, you get more damage to bosses, good armor, and you also get perma blind here. So this will solve crit strike avoidance in a way. It's not bad to build it, but basically you get free blind. And then down here you get a flat per 10 uncapped physical res, which is nice, but we're not going to worry about that too much in this guide. We're just going to build a normal no fizz stacking one, just so it's not complicated. So we're going to equip this item. We're not going to put a slam on it or anything. And before we get any farther, I want to show you. You type in reflect here on the item page. It's going to pull up affixes. And you see this one, damage reflected percent. So basically this not on this that we were reading earlier is referring to this. This stat we don't care about. What you care about is this flat stat, right? So that's step one, is understanding that. We don't want this, we want this. So if that's all the knowledge we have now, what you want to do is you still want to go to this page and you want to look up reflect. You're going to click unique, and you're basically just going to look at the things that have reflect that you can use, ignoring stuff like this mage, etc. And then you're going to scroll down, you're going to find items that suit you. Like we already have a chest, can't do this. Primordial, already have one. And you're going to scroll down this list, and you're going to note like, okay, well, this is not what you want. That's why it pulled up, so we're not worried about these. Look at Thornslinger. It has a little bit of flat, but it's so marginal. We're really not worried about this. Keep going down. This is percent. You don't want this. Percent. And then we get here and we go, oh, this is a lot of flat. That's pretty good. Some block chance. So maybe, right? Then you get to Thorn Shell and you look at this. You got a bunch of flat, and then you read this. Increased flat damage per attunement. So then you read this and you go, oh, well, this is an item we want. Because basically the more of this we have, the more attunement will scale this number. So we're going to go here, and we're going to equip a Thorn Shell. And basically, as soon as we equip this, this will activate in scaling. So you're going to put this on, and then you're just going to finish reading the items, see what else we got. Percent, don't care. Percent. And that's it. So we know for items, you can look at set items too if you want, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing. No. So we're gonna untick these now, and then so now we just have the affixes, and you just gotta basically remember this is what you want, and then you scroll down and you look at this, and this is an idle, and you read this and you go, that's good flat. So you're just going through here, you're looking for the flat numbers, and it's just those two. So the only scaling for reflect, now that you know, is attunement, this one, and an idle. So you can even go on a notepad if you want, right? And you can go offense scaling, attunement, flat, reflect, and then you can go and look here, and you can go, where can I get it? Body and shield. Reflect items. Cool. And then remember, for now we're gonna ignore this physical res scaling, but just remember this is here in case you want to use this as well. So we have this, and then you're gonna go back here, and you're just gonna search attunement, and you're gonna do the same thing. We know the affix is here, so you can get rid of these for now, and you're just gonna go through again, and you're gonna look for nice attunement items, ignoring slots you already have. So speaking of, they already popped up. You can see these gloves, 16 attunement, which is basically T7 max roll. And then that's without LP. Super easy 3 LP chance. And that's the only set of gloves. So basically you're just going to go, oh, easy hand of spell. You go hand of judgment, right? Super easy. You're just looking for the highest attunement right now, because we already looked through all the reflect, right? Can look here, go, oh, Tempest Moss have this. We're not going to use this because we're going to go for cast speed, basically. I'll get into that a little later, though. You can look at this, all attributes. We're going to ignore weapons, basically, for now, make this a little easier on me. Got offhands with 8 and 8. Which is probably what you go with on softcore, is one of these things. I actually didn't talk about this. I'm gonna make this more oh sorry, I forgot about the shield, so you would never go that. I always forget. I'm gonna make this more defense oriented because I play hardcore, but I'll talk about the softcore differences. You can go red ring, has all attribute, right? We're gonna make this a little beginner friendly, so we're gonna not worry about that. Just keep looking through, looking for your attunements, just kind of noting things you want, right? I know what has attunement on it, but I'm kind of just scrolling to show what the list shows. So then we're gonna go, okay, well, I kind of grabbed all the attunement I wanted, right? I'll just do this now because you're gonna want to. You just go for it. I'm gonna be honest, because it's the plus 12. So we'll just do that now. And then I can kind of work into the offense talk because this is a nice transition spot. So basically in my build, there's some rebuke shenanigans you can do, but I am not gonna do that for the sake of explanation. So I'd like to actually explain something else, which I think is kind of an interesting talking point too. For the tree, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna grab all the strength. You're gonna grab probably this less damage. Because you got to remember, everything that's not on this is defense. Everything else. Besides, use it when we get into our main skill, but we're not into that yet. Yeah, okay, so in my case, I'm gonna want to go here and take these 5. Do this, okay, because we're gonna be using smite, and I want this health man again. If you're not gonna use smite, you can just dump more on vid or this armor, and then if you're taking what's it called? Because you have thorn shell, I keep forgetting that. Yeah, I think that's actually all you're really too worried about here. You can take this movement speed for traversals and some health too if you want, but we're not really too concerned with this main tree. But Paladin, like I said, you're gonna grab attunement. In my case, I guess I can explain the idea. I just need the points. Yeah, I have the points now to explain this. So we're gonna basically be using healing hands here, and healing hands is gonna trigger smites because this is gonna give us survivability because we're banking on our reflect doing all the damage. This will also, I'll show you this now, but we reflect idols. What we mean by that is which one is that? I think it's this one, right? It just means this one, and then here you want healing effectiveness is second best, and then just flat this one is first. But this is fine for now because it's still useful, but you want to get as high of a roll on the reflect as you can in every single slot. That's what kind of why Paladin is really good for this, because we're going to pick up a lot of free defense. Really, we're going to go block too, so we'll grab these nodes because I'll explain that part too later. But like I said, you're just looking for healing effectiveness and attunement here, because healing effectiveness is going to equal ward, which just equals survivability, right? And then you can grab some there too. Then you're going to dump all the attunement you see. Grab some, I actually kind of like this. Grab some health regen on both of these. I'll explain that in a bit too. Grab this. This is just attunement, like I said. And now that we have healing effectiveness, nothing hard there. And then we have attunement nodes. And then this node is just health regen armor, right? And then we're going to go up here. And so cast speed is basically equal to healing effectiveness in this case of survivability. So we're going to want as much cast speed as we can, because cast speed equals more smites. More smites will equal more healing hands. And then more healing hands basically will equal ward, because of this lovely node right here. But to make this node work, you need to go here, and you need to get this experimental mod. Any of them work, but you can afford a T4 or a T5. You won't really feel the effectiveness. So that's the first thing you want. First slam, you know what you want. Bam. And then basically this will make this not heal you anymore, but give you ward per what it was going to heal you, a percentage of it. And then everything else you want to go in this tree is basically just survivability. Here's movement. This just makes stuff do less damage to you. And then you want to lower the mana costs. So now our healing hands is done. And since we took healing hands on smite cast, we obviously need smite. And so now the goal of smite is not as much damage, because most of our damage is from the reflect. What we want to do with smite here is basically just get as many out as we can. And that's why you want to go all 3 points into double cast. This is not an order in any way that I'm not gonna do for this video. And then you have to go this node whenever you go smite as a damage in any way. You have to take this. But now this is taking away our health, which will explain how you counteract. But basically, with your health regen you got, well, we don't have all the gear on yet, but you're going to have a lot of health regen to counteract that, which is counteract this node, which is helpful in a way. but it's not going to be enough. So because of this node, you have to basically take all the cost away from it. Because we are also have to counteract Twisted Heart. Because this Twisted Heart is going to give you a ton of cast speed. And that's the other thing. To find this stuff, like I said, cast speed. You can put cast speed in offense and defense. It's more like a hybrid here. But you're going to go through these items. Just any long-term player will tell you Twisted Heart's a broken item. And it's basically the same in this case too. It gives you cast speed. And it's going to give you 8% of your current health as ward on cast. And then just a bunch of health and a +1. So, yeah, this is the obvious take. But now, because Healing Hands is converted, it doesn't heal us. Now, basically, you can think of... I should have been in this place already. I'm so sorry. You can basically think of these gloves and how do I want to show this? Because I have so much reach on it. It's not going to be a good example. Okay, I'll show this part first. So basically, Twisted Heart, when you cast Smite, is going to sack some of your HP and give you a ton of ward, right? The healing effectiveness does not affect that. So we're not getting that for this reason. But basically, you get ward for having Twisted Heart on. And then, if you have Twisted Heart off, these... Well, ignore Twisted Heart being off. Again, these give you ward too. Because I have the ward affix on, or the missing health affix on. And this Divine Barrier node. So if I grabbed another pair of Hand of Judgment without that mod on there, you can look at my... I'm still gonna get ward from this node right here, but you can see I get to like 4. I think I can get, yeah, I was gonna say I can get to like 6k almost ward, and then with these on, I can't even keep 3k, right? So you see how important this mod is, right? So you have to take this, and then you basically, it doubles itself kind of with Twisted Heart, and then you end up at, I don't know, maybe 9k, yeah, 9k at the highest probably here. So both of these are very important. The big issue is, like I said, if you want to use this node, you need 5 points here, because you'll be draining so much health, and the only reason we're not is because I have so much regen. But I'll show you how to do this without this much regen. So what you could do is I could take points out of here, put it down to 1, and then you can watch my health. That's sacrificed from Smite, obviously. But if you use I was gonna say, if you use Judgment here, I guess I'd probably 2 points. Probably 1 more point in here to make it a little bit better. But you can use Judgment basically to give you basically healing regen to counteract it a good bit. Otherwise, you'd just be no HP. So that's why, unfortunately, we have to go 5 here, because we're not playing Leech or anything like that. Sorry, I felt like that was worth explaining. So, and basically with that example, you can see why cast speed is so good for your ward gain. So you're looking for attunement and cast speed. The only rings that had attunement, if we remember, were the red rings. So in that case, we're gonna look for cast speed, because we're not gonna worry about red rings. And then you're gonna come across this beautiful ring, and it's got a ward retention and like 110 plus fire damage, and some ward affix we don't really care about personally in this one. But you're gonna look at this ring, go, that's great. Gonna look at LP chance, go, oh, it's basically free. So then you're gonna go T7 attunement, free slam. Other one, since this is more my mindset, you could do this exact and just put another one here. But since mountain boots are very slow because they have no move speed roll on them, what you want to do is you're gonna go move. You're gonna get these in 2 LP to start because it's not that hard to get. You're gonna go T7 movement speed, and then you just go. We'll go T5 because we'll do no double slams here. So that's gonna make up a lot. And then you're gonna go, oh, I still feel pretty damn slow. So in this case, I like to go this Midnight Ring because Spirit Step is basically the same as Evade. You're gonna pick up this Swiftness, and that's basically the biggest thing here. You get some pen down here. So we do that. Like I said, you can go another Ashes if you want for the cast speed. It's a way better ring, but this is just for speed. And then again, we take attunement. We go bam. All right. And then you go to your belt. Belt's a big toss up. You can go cast speed and look around. I don't think it's gonna pop up. Yeah, it's not gonna pop up because it's frenzy. But frenzy is basically cast speed, 20% if you don't have it anywhere else. And why that's good. You can go to here, I guess, just to prove there's nothing as well. So in this sense, in my opinion, you want frenzy or you just want survivability. It's really a toss up. It's up to you what you want to do here. I personally go frenzy for Immolator's belt. Really nice, and it comes with cleanse as well. And then here, since there's no attunement on belts, you'll just go, oh, I want just health, nothing more. Just go T7 and T5 or something like that. Because this is all dungeon loot is pretty easy to get in 2 LPs. Same with this ring. All this, because you can just farm it with the node or just farm the dungeon accessibly. Twisted Heart getting 1 LP. We're not going to go for higher here. So we're just going to go attunement over cast speed here. Because we're going to have enough survivability anyway. Speaking of cast speed, though, that's where you go with the weapon. You're going to go, oh, was there an attunement weapon? 2 attribute, and then you go, oh, there's Tempest Maw. +6, and you're gonna, I personally go, yeah, it's not really good. So what I'm going to take is cast speed, and you're going to look around, basically just look at actual things that make sense to have cast speed on them. Going to go down here, go down to Scepter. You're going to see, oh, this is a lot of cast speed, and I can get 1 LP. So you go, oh, that's pretty good. And then, since there's no attunement slam on the weapon, you're going to get rid of it. And then you're just going to go, bam, T7 cast speed. And now you have upwards of what, like 80 plus, right? Boom. And now you go back to the tree. Now we're going to remember, oh, we want cast speed. And you're going to dump into this node. Gives you nice auras too. So now we have over 100% cast speed on Smite. Some survivability in the belt. Got the boots. Now you go, oh, my damage. I probably need damage now. This is so much defense focus. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab damage here. So type in reflect. Because we remember body and shield can have flat reflect. And you're going to go, bam, T7. And then 9 times out of 10, this thing gets 2 LP when you egg it. So your next best option, because that's the other thing, getting 100% block is what I wanted to talk about, is you need a ton of investment. So when you see me grab these block nodes here, these can all be changed, because if you're not going for 100% block like this, don't worry about these nodes too much. But how you would go 100% block is you need it on 1 ring, T6, T6, and then you need T7 block chance here. That's how you would get capped block with this blessing. That's the quick rundown on it. But we're not going to do that. We'll reflect here. Go T7. And then you can just go reduced, maybe. Or just, yeah, this is filler more or less for what you want to do. I'd probably go with like armor or yeah, damage taken on block right here. So when you do block, it's like a mini red ring kind of. So then we'll click that. We'll just leave that on there so you guys know that's the second step. Thicket. So the best stat is attunement. Always. And then here's preference. If you get a 2 LP, this damage to reflected stats, obviously what you want to do in softcore probably. But in hardcore, I'm probably going with the health, to be fully honest with you. But softcore option, yeah, go the reflex. Very much here, because that's pretty big. So we'll just put this for now. Then we get to the helmet. The helmet's kind of flex spot. Speaking in experience. But what you're looking for here is you're looking either for health, all attribute. Since we have Smite giving us a ton of ward, that kind of opens up intelligence, making ward retention useful, which is kind of the route I went. If you go with Tundra, you get this nice int strength and a ton of armor. And then in case you're worried about crits, you get this stat. And then in the tree, if you say, let's say that's 50 bonus to crits, you go here and now it'd be 80, right? So you don't worry about crits now, no matter what. Just call it a day there. Obviously slam attunement, and then second would always just be a health. Just T5 or whatever. This is gonna look really low, but you gotta remember when you're attacking how much ward you're actually gonna have. And then we can put in, we'll just put in the right block stuff for now. Don't need crit strike avoid like I just said, so you just go all res. Since we're using smite and it does fire damage, by the way, we're gonna grab this fire res shred node. And then over here, you can grab these 5, because this is a bit more damage. We'll finish out our smite tree really quickly. So for smite, we're just gonna go with fissure, because I find it enjoyable and we're not building crit in any way, so it's probably the better way to go. So you just grab all these fissure nodes, and then here you can grab area, or yeah, I mean, I wouldn't grab the call. I guess you'd grab ignite if you wanted to, but just like this, like I said, just more damage, less cost of health, and then grab fissure stuff. Healing hands, you just want to keep dumping in these health nodes right here with any plus to skills, because mine, I have a time glass, but because it's actually really good, 18% cast speed up to 60 ward attention, but you can just go Nihilus or a Evos, I guess, in software, obviously. And then what you can do is probably just take this point out and just go 1, 2, 3 to spreading flames or something like that. And then, like I said, keep dumping into this one. And then Judgment's just nice because it's just passive healing. Not a lot of these skills are going to do anything. Grab a cleanse over here. Grab more area. I think this node over here, it's one of the biggest ones. Just look for your biggest more modifiers, right? Just grab the biggest more ones and grab all the healing. Where is it? You can grab this instead if you want, like this, more healing. It's up to you really here. We're not, we are capped, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we're capped anyway, but we're not too worried about endurance because you have so much ward, and endurance doesn't cover ward anyway. And then since you have so much here, you could always just go red ring here if you wanted to swap, or if you don't want the swiftness, you go red ring here. And then here you could go Advent Boots, right? You can go Advent Boots for the haste, the less damage taken, but then just get T7 move speed attunements if you're going to do that. Drop this, get Red Ring or another Ashes. There's a lot of little swaps you can do here, but it comes out pretty well. And then here, for the sake of argument, I don't know what you do. I probably just, because it's easy enough, just go Evos or something. Get some free all attribute. Then you end up with 155 attunement. You're going to put all reflect idols here. And then basically that's how I made this build with the survivability. Oh, it's going to be a little scuffed, sorry, because I took out the points. But this was like, what, 8k ward, and it's like 10k. Cool. I mean, it's pretty good in boss fight. Time Glass. That's the other thing with Fissure Smite. Anywhere you can't get cast speed or attunement, you just get LE damage over time to scale the fissure. It's pretty simple. Like here, you would just get, like on a 2 LP, you just get what is it? Just get dot like that or something. But that's the gist of how I come out with a build like this. And then other skill points, you're just gonna go with your classic holy aura symbols, right? And you're just gonna grab them. I guess we should fill them out real quick. You would go the ward route over to here, grab the cast speed here, grab the global fire damage, grab the LE, and then if you need elemental res here, you just go with this. Keep putting in ward retention. Here, just grab all the damage granted. I'm not gonna damage calc it, but this node might be more damage. I'm not sure. Just go like that. Grab all the block over here. And like I said, the cap block, you have to do all the min-maxing, like I said, or otherwise it's just gonna be uncapped block doing not reliable work, but still doing stuff, basically. And then, yeah, just like I said, here you're going to dump these. You could do this. Judgment, you could dump like that. And now, finish passives. Just, you're going to want to dump here. For more symbols and Holy Aura effect, grab this move speed. And bam! I actually want to check. I might have got those points exactly like how I did them before. Pretty close. Good for me. I have the block stuff. But yeah, so that's the gist of the video and how I make my own builds and how I would have made my own Reflect Paladin, basically. A lot of it is, like I said, is easier when you have the knowledge already, right? So... But that's, I hope that basically helps you starting from scratch and gives you an idea. But like and subscribe. Appreciate it.